What's going on, guys? Vampire Fnaf Cool here. I'm going to explain puppy playtime and all of that in this video. So the prototype's face looks weird, so I'm not sure why. And the other thing is the voice. In the tapes, in the Oliver talking to Elliot Ludwig tape, Oliver says stuff normally, but there at the end he does change. So one sequence could be like the tape is there recording something, or it could be a whole thing, but it's definitely a tape recorder. I was right about Huggy's arm being on the prototype because of the early, like in chapter 2 where you see the fur, and Miss Gracie being Lily Lovebraid because of previous tapes and the bones being in there. I was right about the kids growing into the toys, but not in the way that I was hoping. Instead of the whole muscle and body, it's literally the bones, organs, muscular tissue, none of the skin, which could explain why most of them have growth. And by growth, I mean teeth coming in, skin, really, basically from a baby to an adult, so makes sense. And Huggy's aggression calms down when he sees Kizzy. I do think they're both alive because it wouldn't make sense why the prototype would kill him off. And another thing is, with Five Nights at Freddy's, it's got more lore than prop. What's prop? I mean, more lore than prop than puppy playtime. I don't know why I was saying prop, but yeah, it's got more lore than puppy playtime. Even though puppy playtime probably will end on chapter 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe it'll go on to a sequel or something, a prequel. I do think that we're a toy, because it won't make sense how one shock can bring us back, like what Giblet did. If you haven't watched chapter 5, go ahead and watch videos on it and that, along with the tape recordings to get up to date with it. Now, there is something iffy about the Hour of Joy. We weren't there. The player wasn't there. Who is the player? The player could be a female, could be a male. Some people were saying it was Preston. I don't think it is, because Preston's not alive anymore, so. And another thing is, puppy playtime is like a factory. So you've got the main factory, you've got below. But I was rewatching the video, and someone pointed out that maybe the better place is that little town underground. And the poppy gel, I figured that out. They submerge these organs or whatever in there, or they pour that much gel into the toys or onto the toys to bring them back after being shocked. Which, if that's the case, then Gimlet just exposed the lore to us. But yeah, people saying that it was Poppy being thrown in the gel, that was no. Also, I've noticed whenever the prototype talks about Poppy, he goes, "You ran like a child." Like I said, it sounds like a VHS tape or a tape recorder, which you can rewind and pause at different segments, no matter how many voices it records. The Mimic doesn't have a voice recorder in FNAF because it's the Mimic. But yeah, now for Security Breach, I am going to say this. Patient 46 is not Gregory. Why? I'll explain. So, Gregory's homeless at this point, and you need money to get therapy. The silence of quote-unquote Gregory is not Gregory, it's Vanessa. When Vanessa talks, it's still Vanessa, but when it's silence, it's Glitch Trap talking to Vanessa, so she's keeping her mouth shut. If you tell anyone about this, I will do something horrible. And there are multiple occasions of Glitch Trap talking to her, as we see in Ruin, where Cassie wears the same mask that she built. Yeah, she built that mask, even though it was back then a prototype with just like no wires. She gave that to Fazbear Entertainment for people, but she was wearing it under the mask, under the suit of Vanny, her persona. That's why Grandma Freddy couldn't see her, because she kept teleporting. Because like Helpy, HELPI, did in the Vanny AR network, saying, "Oh, it's just your imagination." Like, it's like flipped, and then in the what's her name with the therapy counselor people, they said, "This is you. This is you hacking into our systems or something." Gregory is a child. Vanessa is more of the hack type. Not only that, there are two characters named Greg in the Fazbear's Fright books and the Pizzaplex Tales, but they describe GGY, the actual Greg, the one from Pizzaplex Tales, is a student, so therefore high school student. And Gregory is not a high school student, so that's what I wanted to cover. Not only that, some people were saying like that, oh, Vanessa has a sister. She doesn't. Those other endings aren't canon to Ruin. Bone Trap ending is, because Gregory says this. My friend has schematics. Gregory and Frey are alive. Vanessa is somewhere. And some people were saying that she's an after and she's not. Movie-wise, yes, but not game-wise. So the movie's separate from the games. It has the game lore in them, but it's like a different take. So like instead of like Evan, it's just Vanessa and Michael and Mrs. Afton. But with the Fun Times, game-wise, there is a hint you can find if you have the novel. Well, not novel, the guide. If you really think clearly, if Funtime Frey was controlling Bonbon, two things wouldn't be able to be possible. Bonbon's voice and Bonbon's ability to move. Two souls are possessing that animatronic. Both Funtime Freddy, the main soul, and Bonbon, the second soul. All of the Funtime animatronics are possessed. So are the toys. Now, with FNAF 1, there was no murders. There was an accident, but that didn't count. But yeah, like, there's so much lore for both games that need to be There's also a lot of shows that need to be debunked in, what's the name? So this is the second upload tonight, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video or whenever. Bye guys.